Here are 6 different ways you can use blue painter's tape to help you around the shop or at home. I don't know about you guys, but I have a hard time figuring out the length or circumference of anything that has a curve. For example, I have this round desk lamp I made a few videos back, and I have no idea what the circumference of this lamp is. So the tip is to take your blue painter's tape and wrap it around your object or curve, making sure it wraps around all the way exactly one time and cut it to perfect size. You can then take that piece of tape, flatten it back out, and measure that. This will give you the correct measurement you are looking for. Some might say you can use a rope or string to do the same thing, but ropes and strings can be stretched out if you pull on it too hard, throwing your measurement off. Trying to cut a thin piece of wood on your table saw without a zero clearance insert is straight up dangerous. Adding blue painter's tape to your table saw insert will create a temporary zero clearance insert that will help your thin strip of wood not fall into the abyss of your table saw. After adding my tape and with the blade all the way down into the saw, I turn on my table saw and raise the blade until it's high enough to cut the piece of wood I'm going to be cutting. Note this is not strong enough to prevent tear out, but it's plenty strong to hold the piece of wood until you're able to remove it from the saw. This is not a permanent solution and should be removed if you're not cutting thin strips. Jigsaws and circular saws are best for tear out, so unless you're looking for that tear out look, this next tip is for you. Laying a strip of blue painter's tape in the location where you're going to be cutting tremendously reduces the amount of tear out you will get. This is true for any hardwood, plywood, melamine, or any other type of wood. You see, jigsaws and circular saws cut on the upstroke, meaning there are pulley wood fibers with them when making the cut. Because the top layer of wood fibers have no support, they are the most likely to tear out, and they do. Blue painter's tape gives those wood fibers the extra support needed to not tear out when using these type of saws. I'm not sure why everybody likes to smother their joints with a whole bunch of wood glue, but if you happen to be one of those people, this next tip is for you. Adding blue painter's tape to the edge of your glue joint will help with the amount of cleanup you have to do down the line. I like to do a dry fit first so that I can set up my tape in the correct location. After adding the tape, take it back apart and smother the joints with wood glue, and then you can clamp it back together. The glue squeeze out will go on top of the tape and makes for easy cleanup by just pulling the tape off the wood before it has time to dry. A lot of us don't have hundreds of clamps or the right clamp for the task. Using blue painter's tape is a cool little trick to help with awkward glue ups, especially when gluing up hexagons or anything with miter edges. Depending on the size of your project, you can have a long strip of tape laid out, place your pieces on top, making sure the miter edges are tight next to each other. Add your glue to the miter edges and roll it up. The tape itself is strong enough to hold the joints together until the glue dries. You can also use tape as clamps when gluing up thin panels together. Place your 2 panels right next to each other, add your blue painter's tape across the seam, flip it to open the seam back up, and add your glue to it. Figuring out how deep we have drilled into a piece of wood is something we all need to know. Add a small piece of blue painter's tape to your drill bit to the exact depth you need to drill your hole. This will give you a visual indicator that you made it to the desired depth. If you like to hang anything in the wall, then this tip is for you. I like to find the middle of my blue painter's tape and mark it with a pen or pencil. Then place the tape on top of the mounting holes for whatever you're going to hang. Line up the holes to the center line made earlier. Punch a small hole right where the mounting holes are showing on the tape. You can finally transfer the tape to the location where you want to mount the thing on the wall. If you use a level to level your tape, whatever you hang on the wall will also be level because all of our screw holes are in the same distance from the edge of the tape. If you found these tips useful, then check out this video where I use most of these tips to make something awesome.